Good morning and good Hakodesh. Welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Friday, the 30th day of Tishrei. It's the first day of Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan. We should all have a good Chodesh and a good winter. And let's begin with Tzedakah. Gedola, Tzedakah, Shemekareves Geula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. So, we continue in the chapter 25, letter 25 in Igeret Hakodesh. And the Alter Rebbe here in today's lesson, it's a short lesson, very interesting message. Alter Rebbe talks about how Hashem, the human soul, the godly soul specifically, corresponds and mirrors the image of Hashem. You know, Hashem B'Tselem Elokim, Hashem created us in His image. And when we're saying that we are in Hashem's image, it's not just to give understanding of our faculties. It is not just that it's something similar. It is actually, it mirrors whatever we have. It mirrors the godly faculties. So, in other words, we're talking about the wisdom, the intellect, the emotions. When we have our wisdom, our intellect, using our intellect, it is sourced in God's intellect. And therefore, when we think godly words, it triggers also in the spiritual realm. And here the Alter Rebbe speaks about also specifically about the importance of speech. When we speak the words of Torah, when we say the words of prayer, when you pray, when you want to, if you think about it, why is it necessary? Why is it important to actually verbalize when you study Torah? Why is it important to verbalize when you pray? Why can't you just do it silently? You go into the public library, it's very quiet. People read and focus and they gain knowledge and so on. Why is it important? When you go into yeshiva, you can hear them screaming and talking and arguing and saying the words of Torah. And Alter Rebbe explains that what is speech in Hashem's, in the spiritual sense. God's speech creates. And a similar thing we can see also in human speech. When we speak, what does the speech do? It reveals to the outside of you. It creates a new existence. And not only that, it also intensifies your own emotions, your own intellect. When you verbalize words, it intensifies it. It touches deep into your thoughts, and you can understand better when you verbalize it. Same thing is with emotions. When you speak about an emotion that you have, it intensifies the emotion. So Hashem's speech brings out and unites with the inner faculties, so to speak, of Hashem. And being that we mirror, God created us with blowing into the nostrils, God, the soul of life, meaning the inner part of Hashem is in us. So therefore, when we speak, we unite and we trigger, so to speak, also the godly spiritual speech. And that is why there's certain laws regarding prayer, certain prayers, the Shema, and the pray, and when you study Torah, you have to actually verbalize it and say it with words. Let's see inside what the Alter Rebbe says. Nefesh ha'odam yadua lakoil she'yeklu lo miyud sfiras chochma bina da'as v'chulu. Now it is known to all that the soul of man, the soul of a Jew, is compounded by the 10 Sephiros, Chochmah, Bina, Das, and so on, as explained in Tanya, Part 1, Chapter 3. Here specifically he talks about this godly soul, the soul of a Jew. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the other souls of humankind. Says the Alter Rebbe, now all of these, they have in them, comes from the Ruach Piv, the Spirit of Hashem, the breath of God, so to speak. Though these corresponding faculties of the soul all derive from the breath of God's mouth, as it is written, and he blew into his nostrils the soul of life. As we explained in the Tanya, that there's a difference between the creation of all creatures, which was done by speech, versus the soul of Adam, which is the source of the neshamas, the souls of all Jewish people. That there, it wasn't just by speech, it also was by blowing. When you blow from the inside, not just by speech. You can speak and speak and not get tired. You blow, you get tired because it comes from the inside. So, although everything comes from the inner part, nevertheless, each of these 10 faculties of the soul is particularly connected with one of the 10 supernal sephiros, the supernal attributes, as follows. Derech prat, chochma binadas shebenafshay, and dugma lechochma binadas shebiyut sfiris. More specifically, it says the Chabad, the intellectual faculties, chochma bin and das, in one soul. One's in the intellectual faculties. They are analogous to the divine intellective emanations of Chabad of the 10 spheres. So they're analogous and actually mirror those spiritual faculties. Now these are referred to as Abba and Ima, as father and mother. The sphere in the Zohar, the sphere of Chochmah, the wisdom in the world of Atzilus, is termed Abba, the father. And the sphere of Bina in the world of Atzilus is termed Ima, the mother. While the sphere of Dat is a combination of the two. So Abba is just like a father. The father corresponds to Chachma because just like the father, everything, the wisdom, just like the Chachma is wisdom, the idea, the spark that comes, the same thing. That's what the father, the child, when it comes from a father and mother, the father gives the essential point, and the mother develops it, just like the Bina develops the idea. So these faculties correspond to the godly faculties. And the emotive attributes in one's soul of the love and fear of God, and so on, they are analogous to the first 6 midot, the divine emotive attributes in the 10 spheres, which are collectively known as the Ampin, the minor visage. That's called the terms in the Kabbalah, the small face, talking about the 6 emotive attributes. So now the Alter Rebbe goes to what we spoke about, the power of speech. That the speech of the human corresponds and mirrors the godly speech, the supernal speech. And the faculty of speech in one's soul is analogous to the supernal speech, which is known as the sphere of Malchus or the Shechina. And therefore, and therefore it says, since a Jew's speech is analogous to the supernal speech, it mirrors the godly speech. So the Shechina, So when speaking words of Torah, one arouses the supernal speech, the sphere of Malchus, thereby unifying the Shekhinah, meaning linking it to the preceding stages of emanations. And again, just like when you speak, you're connecting to the inner you, inner self, and you're bringing out something from within. Same thing when speaking the words of Torah. You're accomplishing and triggering a similar action in the spiritual worlds. That is why it is established that for the reading of the Shema, for the blessing after meals, and for the study of words of Torah, one has not discharged his duty by meditation without speech. In other words, you're not fulfilling your obligation of saying the Shema, saying the grace after meal, the blessings, and studying Torah if you just think it. You have to actually verbalize it. And the reason being because this is what we bring, this is what we accomplish through our speech of Torah, connecting and unifying Hashem with this world. That's the end of this Shir Mitzvah Hashem. We'll see you tomorrow. Wishing you a good Shabbos and a good Hakodesh.